All right, I come to you unshaven and tired. But I just wanted to let people know something that came across. Actually, my dad sent me a video, which is on my blog, but it's all in Italian, so unless you speak Italian, what I put on the blog is a rough generic translation of it, which is accurate. But it's very interesting, because what this Italian program shows is that 6 years ago, there was a level 4, what they call a virus research facility, but really it's a level 4 bioweapons research facility that was opened 6 years ago in Wuhan by France and China. But it's not actually controlled by the Chinese government. It has a research facility which is run by the World Health Organization. Now the interesting thing is that the Italian guy in the video, who's got slideshows with a bit of this information in bullet point form, states, it'd be the easiest thing to do to put an agent there to release the virus. Now this is interesting, because before I saw this video a couple of days ago, I was just talking with somebody and I was saying, well, Wuhan has got this research facility. We know that the coronavirus is genetically engineered, and we know that it's genetically engineered to affect Asians, Orientals rather. If you get offended by the term Orientals, go on BitChute and watch my video 114, which was taken down by YouTube, so that in case I missed your ethnicity or religion or country, you can be offended too. This coronavirus that is killing some people is genetically engineered. That's a proven fact, and I'll come to that in a minute again. And it affects Orientals more than Caucasians or Africans or anyone else. So my original point a couple of days ago when I was talking to this person was, so is it China that's actually screwed up, and the Chinese government in Wuhan in the bioweapons research lab? Or is it a Western initiative which would, you would want to release that near the bioweapons research facility, so that people think like, oh, it's the Chinese, but really it's not the Chinese. Now, it's interesting, because this is what this Italian guy has found and checked online, which you can verify for yourself. In 2015. I knew that the coronavirus was genetically engineered because of, I can't remember if it was on Vox's blog or somewhere. Anyway, I read about the composition of, there's like 5% of the virus that is clearly not natural, it's been genetically modified. But, so I was already aware of that. But it's really interesting, because this guy found that in 2015, the current infectious version of the coronavirus was registered and patented. Now, Zero Hedge found that in 2015, the Wuhan laboratory was advertising for a geneticist that could modify the coronavirus, the same virus that apparently is in bats or whatever, to weaponize it. And they did, and they registered the patent in 2015. Now, this was the mild form, which is the current one, which has got a mortality rate of 2 to 3%. So it was patented, and as of 2018, it was deployable. Now, who patented it? The Pirbright Institute. That's P-I-R Bright, all one word, Institute, which is a UK government body, sponsored by the WHO and the European Union, something or other, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. That's right. The guy who was building shitty software 40 years ago is now building shitty viruses. Wait for it. In March of 2019, several months before the first reported case of coronavirus, which was the 2nd of November of 2019, Canada, from its National Microbiology Laboratory, sent a few vials of the lethal version of the laboratory in Wuhan. This was done as a secret operation. How do we know it was a secret operation? Because in typical Glomo-Homo efficiency fashion, they got caught red-handed by the Chinese government, who basically went, what the fuck? Or rather, what fuck? What are you doing? What are you doing? And To which the global homos, Canadians, and World Health Organization research guys all said, we just sent you this packet of super virulent deadly virus only because we're trying to help you study the super virulent man killer viruses genetically engineered by us for your own safety. Which makes you wonder why they would do it in secret then, until they got caught. You know, one thing that I do say on the blog is that it doesn't matter what you believe about Q, whether you believe that Q is real, fake, whatever. One thing that Q definitely got right: these people are stupid. The so-called elite are stupid. They're stupid people. The only reason that they have so much power is because they act through subterfuge, lies, and unfortunately because most human beings just don't have the instinct to put their heads on pikes as soon as they try this sort of shit. I mean, you know, this being the case, if I was the Chinese government, I would have everybody involved in this thing assassinated, at the very least. That's what I would do if I was the Chinese government. Melinda, Bill Gates, the Wu people, the laboratory in Wuhan, they would all die. If I was the Chinese government, I'd be like, you know what? Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Let's just kill them all and God sort it out. Because that's what these people are doing. And if you think that I'm being an extremist, wait a little while. Let me continue. So, also on the 18th of October 2019, a mere 2 weeks before the first reported cases, because remember that the coronavirus has got a 2-week incubation period. So, you know, between the 15th of October and the 18th of October, two significant things happened. On the 15th of October, 300 US soldiers were deployed to Wuhan for some military world games. To Wuhan, specifically. Now you have to keep in mind that Wuhan is the center, it's the hub of China's inter-country transport. So within China, Wuhan is the transport hub for the whole of travel internally of China. It's got the biggest train nexus, it's got airports, it is literally the hub of travel within the Chinese border, and also outside of China, because it's a lot of plane flights and so on. So on the 15th of October, you had these 300 US soldiers deployed there, and on the 18th of October, which is a little bit less than 2 weeks before the first reported case, the John Hopkins World Health Security Forum, the World Health Organization, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation held a meeting of some 15 world-leading figures. Doesn't specify who these people were exactly, but keep in mind, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation funded this along with the other people I mentioned. And what did they do with these 15 world leaders? Well, they simulated a global pandemic of coronavirus that would kill some 60 million people. So they all played it out. And they called this Event 201. In the simulation, the virus started in Brazil. I strongly suggest that Bill Gates pick another country. Because if anybody I know dies of that shit, there's going to be consequences. Okay? So there's also one other little one little piece of information, which is rumor. Okay, this is rumor. It's not. I don't know. But it has been reported for about a year, for more than a year ago, that the Jewish diaspora was planning to make China their next big relocation, mostly because nationalism is rising in Europe, one wonders why, and there's anti-Semitism rising, one wonders why, in America and Europe and so on. So China was going to be the next place where the Jewish diaspora was going to move en masse. Why they don't all just go back to Israel, I don't know, but anyway. However, China wasn't really playing ball. Now, I don't know that this means anything. I'm not accusing anybody, I'm not implying anything, just it's another data point. The funny thing about this Italian little video, which is at the blog, I'll put the link to the blog post, is that right at the end, so the Italian guy gives all these data points, factual data points that you can verify for yourself, including the patent of the coronavirus in 2015. And then right at the end it goes, so after we summarize all of these points, the natural conclusion is, of course, that the coronavirus originated in the fish market. And Italians are not generally known for that sort of English dry humor, but that did make me laugh. So yeah, Corona Chan is genetically engineered, and Bill and Melinda Gates probably know a lot more about it than you'd think. And I do believe that Bill and Melinda Gates were also, I'm speaking under correction here because this is from memory, but I think already 15-20 years ago or something, they were talking about sterilization, depopulation, that sort of thing. So yeah, well, suggestions, don't panic. The coronavirus does seem to affect Oriental people and kill them a lot more than Caucasians, Africans, or other races. So I don't know how that would play out with the American Indians. I'm not sure how it plays out with the Indian population. But the genetically engineered part definitely seems to affect Orientals a lot more. So, obviously depends on where you live and so on, but my suggestion would be stock up on, food that is non-perishable, clean water or clean water tablets. If you can live in the countryside and away from other people for a while, do so. If you can't, just basic hygiene, keep it in mind. Try avoid public transport, try avoid, big gatherings of people. All the things I'm telling you, by the way, I'm not really doing many of them, but, stock up on medicines, antibiotics, that sort of stuff if you can, because if the zombie apocalypse does come, it's going to be food shortages, it's going to be people panicking, and of course stock up on weapons and, make sure that your family is safe. And that you plan for shit, because you never know. Just remember, most people get caught by surprise even when the signs are all there. This is why, by the way, Italy has pretty much shut down a bunch of cities. I have relatives in Italy. One of my relatives is an epileptic who now cannot get any kind of medical attention if she has an attack because only private ambulances work now. They've shut down schools. They have, I don't know what the border situation is, but I know that they're controlling traffic in and out of various cities in both the Veneto, Milan. These are big cities, they're not little towns. And the Italians are very proactive in this sort of thing. What most people think is like, Italians, they're half sleepy, do it tomorrow. But no, we're not Mexicans, we're not Spanish. And I'll tell you something, when I lived in Venice, I saw a level of attention to security that is absolutely second to none. In fact, I would put it top of the planet in terms of being able to very easily, very well, and very efficiently control a whole town's population, because during the carnival, Piazza San Marco becomes super full, and there were terrorist threats and terrorists so on. But the way that the Italians handled this, which, Venice is a rat's nest of little calles and little inroads into the main square. And there's thousands of people, it's literally packed body to body. It's like traffic jam with people, But what they did is in each of the calle, which is the little streets that you walk down in Venice, some are big, some are small, some are really tiny, they set up at every place that was going into the piazza a staggered 3 or 4 station long police and army blockade, because in Venice police and army work together. Another thing they do really well, which in England, if the boogaloo hits, I'm just going to go collect some weapons for the nearest 2 cops. In Italy you can't do that because they travel in 3s and they're all armed, and it's usually 2 military, 1 cop, or 2 cops, 1 military. And they're switched on. They don't just let some random guy walk up close to them while they walk past. They're on. They know what's going on. But what they did is they set up this security checkpoints where the flow didn't really stop, because what they do is that bottleneck, it's only 2 or 3 people can walk past. The initial group it was composed of 2 or 3 people that would check people if they were going to check them, and a third or fourth guy that was a bit behind and would just flag in different ways with different signals the people that walked past. The next station was also another bottleneck, very similar to the first, and the people that got flagged either got pulled to the side, searched a bit more, questioned, talked to, whatever. And then they moved on to a third station and sometimes a fourth station. So by the time that you've got through the Scala, you've gone through a very well organized, very subtle security check that quite honestly beats the crap out of anything I've ever seen the Americans or anyone else do. Because it didn't alert the citizens to what was really going on. If you're not security trained, if you don't have that kind of brain, you wouldn't even know what was going on. You just see the cops and be like, oh, okay, they just let me through. But that's not what it was. That search specific people, that search certain bags, and by the time you've gone to the other end, everybody has been either searched, checked, questioned, or talked to. And I saw it because I saw the guy that was flagging the people. I saw it as I was waiting to sort of walk forward, because you're kind of not quite a queue, but it's slowing down. I checked, oh, that guy is spotting people and he's flagging them to the next group. And then I checked, and the next group is checking the people that are flagged. He's pulled that one aside, so that's the signal for a serious one that you pull aside. And as I walked through, I saw he flagged me, but I made it, I didn't make it obvious that I saw that he flagged me. I thought, oh, he flagged me and I thought, it's because of how I look and how I walk. Because the spotters were trained. These guys would flag anybody that looked like military, even if they were in civilian clothes, anybody that looked trained, anybody that looked martially awake, flagged me. And the next guy, I didn't have a bag, my wife had a bag. They checked their bag. I told her, I said, we're going to get stopped at the next one and just get your bag ready. And she's like, huh? And then they did, and checked the bag. And the guy questioned me and he started to speak to me in English, funnily enough. And I said, no, I'm from here. And he says, from here where? I said, I live here. I'm Venetian. Lived overseas. Very good on you to pick up that I am not your average Italian, but I'm Italian, see my passport or whatever. Look, and he goes, oh. No, that's fine. Have you got a bag with you? I said, no, just my keys and my wallet. I'll take them out if you want. And he was like, no, that's fine. And he moved me on. And I can't explain to you how I know this, but I know that he twigged me and he said, okay, this guy's trained. He knows what's going on. He's not a threat. He's dangerous, but he's not a threat. And it was very interesting. Really well done. So, the fact that Italy has shut down certain cities and might shut down certain borders or certain things or certain airports or whatever they're going to do, that tells me that this coronavirus has got a lot more to it behind than you know. And the numbers of infected in Italy is climbing very quickly. It was like 130 the other day. It's now 270 of a few hours ago, and I don't know what it is now. That's probably because they're reporting actual numbers, unlike most other places, which we know. I think it was Vox that blogged about it. It's almost a linear mathematical progression that doesn't happen in real life. So it's some kind of, probably the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation AI that they used, was probably Windows based, some piece of shit crap that can't randomize, and so it just creates a linear trend. And probably that's what they're telling us is happening, but it could be a lot worse, could be a lot better, who knows. But yeah, so the global homos are getting desperate is my conclusion on that. And long live the God Emperor Trump, and may the 2020 landslide be overshadowed only by the 2024 landslide, where I hope that his son takes over and it becomes back to a kingdom. I really do think that an empire should have an emperor. The God Emperor is doing well. So there's that. No, the other thing is tomorrow is the beginning of Lent. So as the beginning of Lent, think about giving something up. I have committed myself to eating a bit better, reducing my carbs intake to like 30 grams a day, which is gonna be kind of hard because I eat pretty much what I want and when I want, and being a bit of a pig. I'm not a fat bastard yet or anything, but I could definitely trim up and do a bit more exercise. So that's my aim. is to get to 100 push-ups in one go without a break, which it shouldn't take me too long to get there. And just trim up a little bit and get a little bit more fighting fit, because hey, you don't know when you might just have to take out a bunch of zombies. Might be closer than you think. All right, good night.